The thing is that being the lonely voice in the wilderness that's sitting here telling people this kind of stuff, when 99 out of 100 videos are just people telling you what you want to hear, and people are just cheerleading each other saying, oh, great, thank you, and you're just not getting, and people don't want to, I don't know. Should we quit making these kinds of videos?
We can't.
Should we quit talking about what is real and what is truth and what is, it's all right, so I've got a plumber coming, and I won't turn the camera on when he's here, but we're going to rig this up. We're going to fix this drum here so that it will get piped in to the water line, and so that it will come out the sink, and the water will be purified water that goes in the drum. Get my drift? What we're talking about, what you should and shouldn't do when you get parasites abroad. The title kind of gives a presumption that you're going to go abroad and yeah, you're going to get parasites. Oops, didn't mean to be laughing. But yeah, after 10 years of it, that's all you can do is laugh. No. What you can and cannot do, there's hope, but...
Well, I think number one, from experience, I would say number one is don't panic.
That's a really good one. That's a really good one, because what panic is, it's like fear on steroids. And no good decision ever comes out of fear. And isn't that a timely statement? That'll age well, I'm sure. But it always has aged well, because it's factual and truthful. So no decision based on fear. Try to think back. All of the bad decisions I've ever made were based on fear, which were fewer and fewer in my life, because you just learn not to make decisions that way. But there are unique and rare situations in life that where you just find yourself in a spot you've never been in before. And when I say never been in, you absolutely never been in, not even close or enough to consider it or even think about it, to where you have zero knowledge of it, and yet the consequences, the potential perceived consequences stemming from your lack of knowledge and what to do about it, is what causes this bottleneck of fear, which turns into panic. Did I explain that correctly?
Yes.
I'm trying to verbalize this as well as I can, and that's exactly what a lot of people have been finding themselves in since 2020. You've got the exact same scenario, something you really don't know anything about, you've never been in the situation before, and all of a sudden you've got information coming in that's giving you a cause for panic or fear, and leading to panic. That's how we found ourselves when we ended up finding out the hard way that 2/3 of the world is in what you call endemic area. The word endemic can just go whoosh over people's head if they don't really do an investigation into the word. It means that you're basically like General Custer. You're surrounded and there's no way out. And so endemic is a situation that is overwhelmingly grossly stacked against you, because you're so surrounded in so many ways, in all the ways that you possibly can be, that are the most injurious to your health. And then because you don't know much about it and it hits you by surprise, and because there's a code of silence within the travel community, well, there has been anyway, pretty much the whole 10 years we've been abroad, very little was said other than on our channel. And then when something was said, it was said in such a way as to minimize and sweep under the rug, and make it sound as if it isn't something, oh, no worries, don't worry, just do this and do that and you'll be fine. And you keep hearing this thing where, oh, just take this medicine, you'll be fine.
And that was going to be number 2. Don't take the anti-parasite medicines.
Don't take the anti-parasite med. Now, when we say that
with knowledge, knowing.
We say that from the position of, having done a thorough and 100% deep study on it and knowing how bad it is for your health. And it turns out this is something that you really have to have the ability. It's not an ability of connecting the dots. It's more like once you have the understanding, which comes from a deep knowledge of a subject, then and only then can you actually connect dots, even though people would call it anecdotal. There's an awful lot of anecdotal that is responsible for monumental changes on Earth and throughout history. So anecdotal does not automatically mean ignore it. It means what it is. It's anecdotal, but it's like there are so many things that are anecdotal, but they absolutely are 100% reliable.
That's true.
So and this is what I'm saying is that you've heard that the Latin Americans have a loss of vitamin D or a weakened vitamin D, and they have a need for vitamin D to fight off viruses. And that's one of the things that these medicines do, is they burn off your vitamin D in your gut, and they totally just nuke your stores, let's say, of vitamin D, so that you end up with a deficiency, a chronic deficiency, not just this week. Once you take these meds, you have a chronic deficiency. And we've said in videos from years ago that in these countries, the locals take these medicines every 6 months. They have to, because they're in an endemic area. That's what endemic means. You're surrounded, and as long as you live there, you're in the middle of it, and you're in the center of it, and there's no ignoring it or pretending it's not there, because it's you're basically engulfed, because water is essential to life. So, but that's the thing is, so then if you can't take the medicines, then what should you do? Well, we have developed a conviction about natural health throughout the years, and we've had a conviction on it for years, because we've been studying natural health ever since we were teenagers. Well, ever since I started when I was a teenager, and then when we married, we embarked on a natural health discovery and experimentation, and then we wrote a book about it and made some videos about it. So there's natural ways, and you really have to get good at naturally bombarding these parasites and these bacterias and stuff. And clearly you're going to have to do something about the water that's coming out of your faucets if it's pretty bad water. In some areas it's not as bad as others, but still, it would be best if you could get clean water, really clean water coming out of your faucets, and that would be number one thing. But even so, you just put that together with natural methods of repelling these things, and it depends on what you're dealing with, because
what type of parasite?
Yeah, the different parasites, you got to do different things, and so you kind of got to alternate it and do both. You got to do 2 or 3 different things all the time.
Let's name them.
Okay, well, one of them is the papaya seed. So every so often you got to go 3 days, at least 3 days in a row, maybe
I say 7's better.
7 days, 3 days, 7 days in a row, where you're chewing up papaya, or you're either blending them up in a blender in a smoothie, or you're chewing them, you're eating the papaya and then chewing the seeds and swallowing them, minimum once a day, preferably 2 or 3 times a day for 3 days in a row, and maybe a week if you can stand it. But and they say for 2 weeks, because the eggs and everything, the hatchings. And so it depends on what areas of the world you're going, because in some areas this one's prevalent and the other one's not as prevalent, but it doesn't mean you won't get both. So you can still get both, and they have different symptoms. And then the giardia is more of a garlic thing, and I've had people, it's interesting, because you've got people that don't know a darn thing, and some of these people are just paid trolls, that they want to come on your channel and say, you can't get rid of giardia with garlic. Yes, you absolutely can, but if you're in an endemic area, you're going to get infected again and again and again. So that's the problem. Yeah, so garlic, it needs to be liquefied in liquid and then drunk you drink it, the garlic liquid, on an empty stomach, so it can get in your stomach.
It goes in the small intestine.
Small intestine to push those giardias down. So it's just alternating between them. And again, the number one foundational thing is that you need to get out of the endemic area somehow, and you need to somehow get clean water. And it's interesting that they would ask us to talk about that in Mexico, because not very many people know, like we didn't when we went abroad 10 years ago, that 2/3 of the world's endemic. A lot of people don't even know that Italy has a whole endemic areas. There's antiquated septic piping systems that break and pollute drinking water all the time. And we had to deal with that. So we've been around the globe, and this subject has followed us around just about everywhere we've been. Pretty much 9 out of 10 places we've been. I think if there's anyone at all that knows something about this subject, it's us, because we've been living it for 10 years, and we've been going around the world confirming to us that the 2/3 of the world really is endemic, because we haven't been able to escape this endemic world. And it's just been really, really hard ever since we left North America to keep our health. And you know, and one of the things that's going to make you weaker is if you take those medicines. And so that's something that you should be totally 100% informed and be completely willing to understand and know more about natural health, as it was given to us by the world and the earth and creation. And so I'm just thankful to creation for natural ways of keeping our bodies healthy. And it is not natural at all to have the kind of water that comes out of your faucets in these countries. That's not natural. That's not coming out of nature. That's coming from man. Man is doing this. Man is not being a good steward of the earth. They're doing a poor job, and in many cases they're taking money that they've been given to fix the issue, like in places like Italy and maybe a lot of other places, and then not fixing the issue. So it's corruption. So they're taking the money and then not fixing the water issue. So it's a big issue worldwide, and it's not to be minimized. It's something that you really need to give some really strong consideration to. And the thing is that being the lonely voice in the wilderness that's sitting here, I'm telling people this kind of stuff when 99...
Oh, don't worry, honey. There's another video about parasites online.
99 out of 100 videos are just people telling you what you want to hear, and people are just cheerleading each other, saying, "Oh, great, thank you," and you're just not getting. And people don't want to, I don't know. Should we quit making these kinds of videos?
We can't.
Should we quit talking about what is real and what is truth and what is, it's I rest my case. I'm done. Okay, thanks for coming to the video. I hope you got something out of that, and have a wonderful day.